Hi, my name is Bruce Bolger, and I'm founder of the Enterprise Engagement Alliance and the Brand Media Coalition, which is a group of leading brands and master fulfillment companies and gift cards committed to the effective use of brands and reward experiences, incentives, and gifting. And today we're doing a program on how promotional products distributors can thrive in the world of incentives, rewards, and recognition. And there was really no better company, I thought, to have for this program than Partners for Incentives, which, as you're going to learn very quickly, has been at the business of supporting distributors for probably longer than any other incentive company of its type. And we have with us as well the entire team, the people that helps their distributor clients achieve their business objectives. And so that's starting with Joy Smith, who many people know. She's been in the industry for quite a while. She's Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Roger Thomas, who also has a lot of experience. He's Vice President of Business Development. Kristian Burgwald, Director of Client Relations. Rob Furney, Senior Account Executive. And Robert Johnson, so sorry, Robert, Senior Account Executive, have all had a lot of experience helping distributors. And finally, Mary Anne Comotto, we're going to be starting with her in a minute. She didn't start the company, but she's been at it for quite a while. And she's going to start with us as to why, she focused on selling through distributors to begin with. But just two other housekeeping points. We always have to thank our customers. While none of them pay for any of this, this is what our company does as a media company. These are the preferred solution providers who really make a commitment to promoting effective practices throughout this industry. And then finally, there's a lot of free services that we offer, information like these shows that enable people to learn effective practices. There's no excuse to run a stupid program anymore. So I'm now going to stop my share. And Mary Anne, I'd like to start with you and help us understand, first, a quick history of the company. I think it goes back 72 years. And how long have you been selling through distributors, and why?
Yes, Partners for Incentives has been selling to distributors for more than 40 years right now. We decided to set up that division, get out of the direct selling market so that we could help them with their connections to promote employees at the different companies they represent. We have a 200,000 square foot warehouse in Cleveland, and our offices are located there also. And we do everything from soup to nuts in the back room. We're noted as everyone's back room, and we're the best kept secret because we're not out there right in the public's eye, and we will not compete with you.
And Joy, I think you've been with the company quite a while, and probably, I don't think, over 20 years. I won't even nail you on it. But so obviously you folks are still at it. You never changed that strategy. Do you see any reason now why you would change that strategy?
Not at all. In fact, we see a continuing trend of the distributors who have more opportunity today than they ever have. They need more tools in their toolbox to be a resource, more of a resource to their clients. And we feel that we fit a void as far as in the program selling and recognition, sales incentive, points-based, level-based, non-branded items that allows the distributor to be more of a resource to their clients.
So Roger, what types of programs are you seeing distributors buy, or what types of business are they bringing you guys?
Yeah, there's a couple of different areas that they bring us. The easiest thing is a years of service anniversary milestone program. So they'll celebrate 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years of service. Typically, it ranges anywhere from $10 to $20 of award value for each year of service. We also do creating a culture of recognition. So once we get the years of service program in place, it's much easier to create the culture of recognition. So doing that, what we do is we start saying, okay, what kind of tools do the managers need to recognize and reward somebody for going above and beyond? So then we start putting together a points program for that. employee recognition and creating a culture of recognition. Chris, why don't you handle the other two opportunities that we offer supply or
By the way,
clients?
before you do that, I wanted Mary Anne posted today on LinkedIn a study that I haven't seen yet in the industry that's rather astounding. That just came out from the American Heart Association. It was a detailed study, and a major cause of heart attacks, particularly in men, is for they haven't been able to track this yet in women. I think it was a failure of having enough data, is a failure as men who work extra hard who don't get recognition. And that is apparently a major cause of heart attacks. And over 10,000 men die of heart attacks a year on the job. Anyway, Kristian, just an interesting note that what you guys do may help save lives. Thank you for that, Mary Anne. Kristian, those two other points.
Well, a couple more points, actually, tagging on to the study that you just read. Wellness programs, we can assist with those. There's lots of great companies out there that have front-end dashboards that run these wellness programs, but a lot of times they need a more robust gifting back end. A lot of times it's just, Amazon gift cards or what have you. We can tag on to that and, offer a points-based program to go along with those initiatives. But along with some of the programs that Roger discussed, safety programs come up quite often. And we like to take a different approach to safety programs where it's more education based and pointing out potential problems that may arise, things that go to not only keeping the employees safe, but a return on investment for the organization by saving on insurance costs. You also have, different types of sales and incentive programs, whether it's, a distributor sales and program. It's a HVAC company that's selling different brands of air conditioners, and one particular company would like to incentivize them to sell more of their brand. Direct customer loyalty programs. And what's nice about our platform is that, a simple years of service program, for example, can eventually be rolled up into including different types of recognition. You can go from that basic years of service program into, now you're wanting to add some training elements for new hires or for people that are participating in the safety program. Or maybe you want to do holiday gifts on the platform as well and kind of make the platform your one-stop shop for all of your incentive and recognition needs. So what's nice about the platform is it's flexible and it can grow and expand and evolve as the company evolves.
So in other words, you enable the distributor to cross-sell, to build a relationship. I like the way you put that, Kristian, to cross-sell, to build a relationship, get in with the years of service. But Roger, to your point, what I find interesting is that is years of service even relevant as much anymore as culture? Is that really the focus today? Are we seeing more focus on the culture element, Roger?
Years of service is a great way to enter the corporate incentive and recognition market because it's simple, it's easy to understand, it's easy to implement. And once you get that in place, then you add these other layers onto it. And the reason you do it that way is because the more layers you add onto it, the more hands get in the mix, by meaning you might be dealing with a VP of sales or somebody else within the organization. So it's just easier to do it that way.
So, Robert, in terms of the types of distributor you are running into, is there any kind of pattern? We try to estimate from ASI and PPAI numbers the numbers of distributors that are actively engaged. It seems to be around 2,000 of them. Is there any pattern that you see of the type? Is it regional types, small, big, sophisticated? Any pattern on the types of distributors and or the types of programs that they sell?
Thanks, Bruce. Actually, no. We see people and distributors from all different areas, all different sizes approach us on a continuous basis. Whether they're singularly handling the company themselves, or they're a large conglomerate of multi offices and things like that. So as far as the size, it really doesn't matter of the company coming to us. And the beauty of our programs is that even if it is a smaller company, well, there's so many of those services that we can do for you. We can do all of the invoicing for you so that you don't have to do that. So we try to help out in all different areas depending on the company size and their breadth of knowledge throughout the programs.
So, Kristian, do you see that the same way? Any kind of trends in terms of the distributors? And that will kind of lead to the next question that I'm going to have for Joy. But in other words, distributors have to be a jack of all trade and masters of none in many ways, don't they? Because they might need to do signage for a client. They might need to do digital marketing for a client, promotional products, jackets. So how much do these distributors need to know to be effective before I get to that question to Joy?
Well, a lot of distributors that we meet with, on a first time basis, doing different shows, and, even they just find us on the internet and give us a call and say, hey, I think that you can possibly help me. When they're first getting into this, a lot of them are a bit scared and a bit nervous about it. And we've even had stories of folks that have turned down these types of opportunities in the past because they didn't know where to start. They didn't know who could help them. They didn't know what to do. Some of them even attempt to do it on their own, and they end up coming to us and saying, this is just way too much for me. This is great business, but it's just getting to be overwhelming. So, what we do is really help educate them on the way to sell these programs and to bring the information to their client. We want to help them become a one-stop shop. You mentioned, a lot of these distributors in this industry, they're doing so many different things. And sometimes when we start talking about these programs, they start getting a little overwhelmed as well. But we have to reassure them that we're your partner in this, and we are there to help you along the way. And depending on how much engagement you want to have, maybe you want to be the sole contact to your client. Come to us for advice and information, and we'll give that to you so that you can present it to them. Maybe they want us to be there alongside with them, meeting with their client and helping them set up a program. And that way we can answer the questions directly that the client has, help them with best practices. So we're really there to be flexible based on the distributor's knowledge of these types of programs and how involved that they want to be.
And, that's a great segue. Thank you, Kristian, for setting that up for Joy. My feeling with, I've worked with distributors for years and years, and it seems to me the best solution for them is to make it easy. But I want to obviously hear your perspective. In other words, make sure they know enough to ask the right questions. But I think most of them would prefer a model where they make money while they sleep, in a sense that they get this opportunity and then they call you folks and say, help, because they trust you and they help you. But how many of the distributors really want to get involved, really want to design the program, even have the capability or knowledge or time to do that, versus really finding a trusted partner who they know will do it right and look for other opportunities for them?
I think the majority of the distributors that come in here and call us, they're willing to, first of all, they want to be part of the selling process. As you mentioned, they wear many hats. If they're not selling, they're not making money. So a lot of them are part of the selling process. We assist them as far as we'll write up the questions and send them to them if we don't have enough information. This is what we're going to need to make further recommendations. And then once that happens, and then we'll come back and say, well, here's some ideas, here's some websites to look at. This is what we're thinking. If that goes well, then they come back to us and say, okay, what do we need to do? So we'll prepare next step documents. I mean, we'll do whatever it takes to help support the process. And that really assists the distributor, because all they're doing is then taking what we have sent to them, putting it on their own letterhead or however they're going to deliver to the client, obtain the information, and it's we're ready to go. So once something is sold and then we get it implemented, you know, there's still questions and situations that arrive throughout the program. And then my teammate and colleague, Rob Furney, and to a degree, Robert Johnson, and all of us, quite honestly, will do program support and communication throughout the program life. You know, Rob, would you like to explain how you assist some of the distributors on an ongoing basis once we have a program sold and implemented?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's, you know, as you were saying, Bruce, a lot of people, you know, you don't know what you don't know. So it is vital to have people with the experience that do it on the day-to-day basis sort of step in for that support. So when we do have new people come on board, one thing we do is we try to find out directly what is it that they really want. Are they telling us what they really want? Do we have to decipher, sort of get in and figure it out kind of thing? Most of them come in thinking they just want something simple, but as they dig into it, they realize there's some more nuances that we have to get involved. We start working with, you know, IT and programmers, that sort of thing. On the day-to-day stuff, as Joy was mentioning, we will provide them with all the resources they need, from the website to the ordering process, the billing, as Robert was mentioning before. Any sort of problems that may arise, something gets lost, a participant can't get into the website or understand what's going on, we're that day-to-day contact that they can talk to somebody face-to-face and get real-time help, not just be sort of lost in the void of, okay, the program's thrown up, it's totally autonomous. To this distributor, it is, because once it is set up, they, unless they just want to be involved, don't need to be involved. We're there to sort of step in and take that lead for them and keep it going, keep the program successful. And to Roger's point, keep that door open so that we can grow that business into something else and something bigger.
I think it's
Go ahead, Joy.
Bruce, I think it's important to point out that we will assist distributors on every step of the process and help them also identify any new processes. So once they sell the program and it's implemented, basically they can walk away from it. I mean, not completely, of course, but they can walk away and start doing what they do to make money, is out selling their, you know, the next situation. So we take a lot of the heavy lifting off of their plate. We try to make it as easy as possible, and we'll be there every step of the road to assist them from program inception to program conclusion.
Well, that leads me, Kristian, to a question back to you on, you know, a lot of companies in the past really have not measured a lot of programs. Our media property, anyone who reads our Rewards Recognition Network or ESM know that we're very big on measurement, but a lot of clients haven't been. But that is beginning to change. That is beginning to change. So I wanted to ask you, how do you, once you get into measurement, designing a program with measurement is not difficult. It really isn't. There's some very basic models, as you know. How do you, first off, are you seeing a shift of more receptivity from clients? You know, gee, how can I go back to management and say this thing worked? You know, are you seeing any change in the interest in ROI or evaluation of programs? And if so, how are you communicating to distributors that you can help them do that?
Well, this is really, you have the people that are of the mindset that's, this is just a nice thing to do for our employees, and we need to do this. And that is certainly the case. But there's other organizations that look at it, especially when, the people, the financial side of the organization starts looking at it and saying, okay, we are, it's great that we're going to incentivize and recognize our employees, but what is this going to cost us? And how do we know that it's worth doing? So, one of the things that we offer them is back-end reporting of every, not just basic reports. This is everything that's going on in the program. We can see, let's take an employee recognition program, for example. We can see how engaged managers are on an individual level in rewarding their employees. You may run into a case looking at these reports and you say, well, this manager is doing great. We can see that he's recognized his employees on a daily basis. This manager here hasn't really touched the program in over a month. So, we look at those reports and those statistics with the client and with the distributor and say, hey, we noticed that this is going on here. What can we do to help? Do we have a management training session? Do we need to help promote the program a little bit better? How can we assist? So engagement in the program is really the key to any successful program, to get it to do what you want it to do and to provide a return on investment. So all of the reports that we provide, all the performance reports, all the statistics, we have a very in-depth dashboard along with standard reporting on these programs. All of this is information for not only the person who is in charge of administrating the program on the client side, but also taking this to their board of executives or their financial committee and say, look, this is where we were on these initiatives before the program started. This is where we're at now. We've got great engagement. Things are working. We're getting great cost savings ideas. It's appearing that employee turnover is slowing down. So all of that information is going to be very valuable to all of the clients and distributors that utilize our program.
And so, Roger, you have been doing this for just a few years. Are you seeing a greater appetite for this type of, accountability? Obviously, with the years of service, I don't think people are really looking at that too much. But are you seeing a greater interest in measurement?
That's an interesting question because there's kind of a pyramid on this. The higher on the pyramid you go, so vice president of human resource, vice president of sales, they're gauged on their effectiveness of the program. They care about the return on investment. The lower you go in that pyramid to a middle to lower end administrative person, they focus on the cost. But to give you an idea, if you help reduce turnover, say you have 1,000-person company, say you reduce turnover by 10% through the rule structure in the program, that's 100 people. If the average cost is $10,000, you just save them $1 million. Where lower level people will focus only on the cost of the award, and they're missing the big picture. And so it's the design of the program that's going to give you the effective return on investment. You also have to communicate it, which, we've helped distributors and marketing partners. I've helped them sell 50,000 more T-shirts at $1 higher a T-shirt because we and they control the scope of the program. So what they don't understand is the integration of all those elements, the design, the communication, the training and education, the rewards, and the return on investment. When you look at that whole package, there's nobody in the industry that does what we do for the distributors out there. And hopefully they think about that as they move forward.
Well, thank you. And then moving on, I guess back to you, Kristian. Or before we end with this, any other challenges, any other changes that you're seeing in trends? We'll get a little bit more into, the trends of distributors in general, but any other types, like different types of programs you're seeing now, referral programs, more of anything before we move on to the next question?
Well, it's a good point. We're going into the holidays. And a lot of challenges that we see are distributors rather, who have clients that tend to forget that Christmas is on December 25th this year. And 2 weeks prior, they will say, oh my goodness, I need an idea. I've got 500 employees. We did book bags last year. We did water bottles the year before. I need an idea for employees. I got to have it in 2 weeks. I need 500 pieces. And, it's got to be stunning. Well, that's a problem. You're trying to compete with the retail environment at the holidays at that time. You're trying to come up with a good idea for 500 employees, and where can I get 500 pieces that fast? Well, let's look at a choice program, which is what we do. and see how that can solve your problems. And that's going to solve your problems in a couple of ways. Number one, you don't have to remember, or you don't have to try to figure out what is it that 500 different employees with different backgrounds and different interests are going to like, because in our program, they're going to be able to pick out the gift that they want to get. You don't have to worry about supply issues, because now you don't have to get 500 pieces of something, because we're going to have 100 or 200 different items for them to select from. So we've just solved our inventory problem there, because we're going to sell 5 of these and 12 of these and so on. And it can be done quickly. These programs can be turned around rather quickly, and you get into a tight spot where you got a couple of weeks, let's throw up a program for you, so that you're not rushing at the last minute. So we talk about different categories of programs: years of service, employee recognition, sales incentive programs, safety programs. But clients should not, or distributors should not, feel boxed into those different categories. These types of gifting programs are good for any opportunity where it makes sense to give someone a choice in the gift that they get, rather than trying to figure out one gift that's going to be best for everybody.
Well, that's fitting into a sustainability trend too, because then you make sure that you're not sending out people things that they don't want. And in fact, somebody I know works for a major company, and they moved to just your model. Kristian, they used to send them out very nice stuff, but it was just came in, the employees threw out half of it because they didn't want it. And now they've moved to precisely what you say. This leads me to this idea, the area of growth opportunities. And what really strikes me, Joy, and I'm going to kind of switch this over to you, and I'm sorry, I'm going to do this out of deference to your experience, because I frankly believe that experience counts for something, frankly. When you really look at the big opportunities in this industry, people forget that there are only about 50 to 60 incentive and recognition companies. That's it. And you're one of them, by the way. But most of them sell direct to the top 3,000 companies. There are 220,000 companies in the United States that have sales of $10 million or more, who are not being called on by Meritz, BI, or ITA Group, or any of those big companies. So it has always seemed to me that distributors really have a big opportunity to serve that middle market. Is this happening? Do you think distributors are really still jumping into the market, Joy? Or now that COVID is over and the promotional products business is coming back, are they just kind of going back to their old ways and mostly focusing on, what they did?
Distributors are client driven. And if the client wants a years of service program that they don't want to use branded items, then the distributor's job is to go out and find a source that will assist them in delivering what the client's needs and wants are. So, and I think this is happening more today than it ever has. Our business is continuing to grow, and we see, as we're attending seminars and educational seminars with these distributors, that many of them have an interest in being able to offer that to a client when the need arises. So the trend would be that they are wide open. The majority of them, not all of them, but the majority of them are wide open to offering something new and not necessarily going back to branded merchandise based on the client's initiative. So yes, this is a growing segment, and I think I will see continual growth as these distributors become more of a resource than just promotional products to their clients.
So in concluding, I'd like to throw out to any of you folks, any advice that you would give to distributors looking into this market as to the smartest ways to succeed. We all know this is going to grow. This is a growth market. It has overall grown right through COVID. Even if there's a recession, talent in every industry is in short supply. And I mean talent. Talent. And the first people to leave are talent. Companies always forget that. And same with customers. They are less loyal than they've ever been, and that applies to the supply chain and distribution partners. So this is a growth industry without a doubt, and it's an unknown industry. It's not taught in schools. So what advice, in conclusion, if any, would you folks have, or thoughts that you have for distributors as to why they should be in this industry, or how to profit from it? Any thoughts before we wrap up?
Let me
One
make a-
area, Bruce, that I noticed is when we talk to people at these meetings and things, a lot of the distributors, is a lot of the clients don't know that the promotional products people can help them with their incentive needs. So that's number one, is to let them know that you can do that. And we always recommend to the distributors one tagline on the bottom of your email: ask me about incentives. Now, every time you send that out, you're just reinforcing the fact with your clients that not only can you help them with their promotional products, you can also assist them with their incentive needs. And we find that's a big challenge out there that they just need to let everybody know that they can help them.
That's very smart. Somebody else was going to say something.
The easiest thing for the distributor or marketing partner to do is just give us a call and talk about their opportunities. And then we will lead them through it and make it as easy as possible for them to sell the programs. The more they
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, you were going to say something.
The more they do that, the better things go. So the more they get us involved, the easier it is for them. And that's what we want to do. We want to make their life easy. We want them to appear very knowledgeable about this area of the business, and we can help them do that.
So essentially, then you come in as a back office expert white label agency that makes that distributor look really smart without their having to have all the experience you have, because they also have to sell 10 other categories. So Mary Anne, in wrapping up, the business model, I think, is pretty simple in your model, isn't it? That they just basically get a straight commission, just without getting into exact details. You guys make it super easy, make it possible for them to make money while they sleep, make it possible for them to add additional services that become sticky, because once a client's using the technology, if they like it, it's hard to get rid of you. So all those are great. But so how do these guys make money in general terms, or ladies?
Generally, they make a commission on what moves through the warehouse, or they'll mark up the price of the websites. We can either pay them a commission or we can sell them net and they mark it up. So depending on if we bill the client for them under their name or we bill them with a discount, depending on what their percentage is of what they're going to make, is how we make it easy for them.
So again, this gets back to that model of making money while they sleep. Once they have a program up and running, they get a check. And you handle the customer service. If a customer has a problem, then fulfillment, something isn't drop shipped correctly, they don't call the distributor, they call you.
I think it's very important to point that out. We'll handle every aspect of it. So they're not chasing crock pots. We're doing all of the heavy lifting for them, right down to the customer service. And we have a dedicated customer service department. That's all they do is handle these types of situations. So the distributor can go on to do his or her thing and sell their, go on to the next opportunity.
And Bruce, I think it's the same with the merchandise as well. I mean, we've got over 8,000 merchandise items we can put into these programs. And we've got several buyers on staff that are updating that merchandise continuously. So it's not to where there's going to be dead stock items or items that have been discontinued in programs. We're constantly updating those and really refreshing entire programs on yearly or bi-yearly basis with new rewards.
Well, and I also understand you've got travel, certificates, and even booking. So you've got a pretty good, strong solution there, it sounds like. All right. Well, thank you, folks, so much for this. I think the overall lesson is that there are really only very few companies in the United States that do what you do, providing a complete turnkey program design solution, not just product, but a program design solution with technology to handle just about any type of part of the enterprise. You folks actually have one of the first enterprise engagement technologies that I know I can speak to personally. And then finally, this whole model of being a white label agency that can handle any element of the program for the distributor's behalf. with a simple way for them to make money and to build relationships by adding value. So thank you very much for your time today. And this will be available on the Rewards Recognition Network website, on the EEA YouTube channel, and summarized in an article that we'll be promoting probably within the next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you.